12 months ago, many of you may remember, we had a presentation on the Coranderrk Festival from Jacqui. This year we have lovely Brooke, Jacqui's sister. I'm not going to say too much because that's going to be Brooke's job. So that previous talk that just had the Refugee Council left a lot with me because really nothing's changed. If you have a look what happened to Indigenous people from the 1700s on through the 1800s, even up to almost today, exactly the same thing a refugee people go through. Displaced off homes, culture taken away, not there to return, family unionship problems. It really is, mate. If we heard to talk to refugee camps, I think close my eyes when we talk about Indigenous populations. I'd like to introduce Brooke Collins, or Nathan to Brooke Wandel. So a lot of you know the name Wandel for the eastern areas. Who wants to talk about the Coranderrk and the festival and also the walk to Coranderrk.
Thanks, Chris. And thank you for inviting me along and having me today. And first of all, I really have to note that I agree with Chris's comments when listening to Louise's talk, that there are lots of similarities. And it is a little bit of a shame that things haven't changed. But good on us for all getting down, getting dirty and making small changes where we can. So, my name is Brooke Wandel. I've been married only a couple of years and sometimes I find it hard to say my name is Brooke Collins. I feel really strongly attached to my surname of Wandel and that was a big decision for me to change my name. I live in Healesville. I have all my life. Both my parents have lived in Healesville all their lives and of course I have the connection through my ancestors being a traditional owner and being a Wurundjeri woman. I just wanted to introduce myself through my family and explain my connection to Coranderrk and why I'm so passionate about it. These two beautiful people here are my grandparents. So my connection to country is through that lovely strapping man there, James Wandel. He was born in 1896. In this photo, he's about 30. And beside him is his very beautiful young wife, Olive Morgan. This photo is taken on the back of the photo when after my nana passed away, I went through her belongings and her photos and found a whole lot of interesting stuff. But on the back of the photo says near the original Yarra Bridge. And if you do or don't know the Healesville area, there used to be, a really rickety, crappy old little bridge which went over the highway. Now it's quite a fancy one. So that's my connection is through my granddad. Can I please have the next photo? This is also my nana, my granddad. Now this little boy here, his name is also James after his father. And he was one of the last babies to be born at Coranderrk. He was born in 1933. That's my dad's oldest brother. And the lady holding that little baby, we all refer to her as Granny Jemima. So that's my great-grandmother. Now, she came to Coranderrk. The language in my research was brought to Coranderrk, whether that means she was actually an orphan or whether she was taken from the Murray River, I can't tell you, but she spent her entire life at Coranderrk from its beginning to its end. When she was an elderly woman, she stood her ground and said, I'm not going, this is my home. In the 1920s, at Coranderrk's closure, there was many people forced to say, right, this is it, we're closing the station, off you go. You must go either into town and act like a white person, or if you want to, stay connected with your community, you've got to go down to Lake Tyers, which is quite a way. So these people in this picture for me are the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. And for me, it's important to remember all the small and large gestures that they did to stand up for themselves and their country and just their general human right. So if I have a time of feeling, I can't go on, the festival's too hard, I always sit back and reflect on them. Now I love this picture because this is where I get to show off a little bit. So this photo is taken in 1875 and so Coranderrk is well known for its growing of hops. In 1881 they took their hops along to an international exhibition in Melbourne and they beat everyone. And I just think that's fantastic. They even beat the famous Kent hops, which I just love even more. So that was part of the downfall of Coranderrk, is that they were successful. They had a self-sufficient little village, if you like. Next please. They had, this one. Oh, don't worry, that's okay, it might have been my error. I'm not very good at computers. But they had a dairy, they had acres and acres of hops, they had an orchard, they had cattle, they had pigs, etc. And their conditions improved and their health improved. And unfortunately, there was lots of white settlers coming to farm at that time, the beautiful fertile soil out in the Yarra Valley. There was a lot of pressure from those farmers, which influenced the politicians and the government, and unfortunately over time the size of Coranderrk was reduced and closed in 1924. But, but sort of picking up where Chris was saying, so Jacqui and I have been working really hard on what are we going to do with this property, what are we going to do with this special sacred site that's sacred to me and to my family. And we thought, surely other people want to come and learn about this, and surely people want to come out here and enjoy themselves or whatever. And being young people, we thought, right, let's have a music festival. People will love to come. And then we'll accidentally on purpose teach them about the history. So that was our approach, trying not to be confrontational, trying not to sort of upset anybody in any way, but to focus on the positives. And of course, there's always ways of pointing out the negatives subtly along as you go. I suppose the successes of the 2013 event, because when Jacqui came to speak last year, it must have been just before the festival, is that right? Yeah. So a couple of successes. We had over 1,000 people attend, which was really absolutely mind-blowing. I was so pleased at the response, and that really gives me confidence that I'm on the right track and doing the right thing, and that people are willing to come along and and listen and share with one another. There might be another one, Chris, another festival. Now this photo is very, very special. That's my dad, and the lovely gentleman beside him, his name is actually also John Green. But if any of you know the history about the sort of beginnings of Coranderrk, John Green was a Scottish fellow who came out this way with his wife and his children and lived with my ancestors. And he was one of the voices for Indigenous people in the 1860s, and if it wasn't for John Green, I don't know what would have happened. So what a symbolic moment for these two to sit there together, and Dad was sort of really saying, look, thank you so much for what your ancestors have done to help my ancestors. Really a very special moment. And he's quite a funny old man too. I sat down with him and had a chat, and I think he was a bit of a ladies' man. I think in his photo, I think he was in his 90s, I'm not sure exactly, but he was a wonderful, wonderful man, and this is another sort of example of, yes, Brooke, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. It's really very important. This is Kutcha. Now this is just before the rain came down. So we had an absolute ball from 12 until 4, and Mother Nature had other plans. And next photo please. That's what happened. So even though the event was cut short, I think overall, I need to be sort of confident in, yes, it was a success. Yes, I had fun, and yes, I was exhausted for the week following, but it was all worth it. Lots of the different community connections that happened on that day was another achievement. Many people, that was the first time that they came to the property. For a lot of people, including friends of mine, didn't even realise that it existed. So unfortunately, there seems to be generally, not on an individual basis, generally, collectively in Healesville, just really nothing is known about Coranderrk. And what a shame, because it's such a long and extensive and very interesting history that sort of centres around culture, and connection, but also touches on political activism, with my ancestors walking from Coranderrk into Melbourne and to meet with government to say, look, we don't like how we're being treated, please treat us fairly. And that's something that's, that I think everybody should learn about and draw from, that, if you think things aren't right, it's okay to speak up about it, and it's okay to say, hey, we're all human. There's no reason to treat me any different. For the 2014 event, we're going to have some similar musicians to last year and a few others because we didn't get to hear a few at the end. And some of you who met Jacqui, she was so grumpy, so upset and disappointed that we didn't get to hear the fabulous Coloured Stone, and we've rebooked them, so they're coming along, an Indigenous band that have been around for 30 years. We're also going to have a band, Telecom Joe. They're a loud rock band, but my cousin is a part of that band and we really wanted to show him off. We also have June Mills, a woman who's coming down from Darwin. We have Shane Howard and Trio, Alyssa Lajana and Seb Jorgensen. But if any of you are free, if you want to come out to the Valley, please come along. The event is from 12 till 6 and tickets are through Tribe Booking, and we have a website, hallelujah, but we're still trying to work out how to work it, because I don't know. So that's why I look for my ever-reliable committee.
It really is a good day, and Coranderrk has a white history as well as a black history. So it's about us all coming together, learning the history so we don't repeat it, celebrating the success of it, and tribal communities. And we'd love to see the children, the Korean and the Burmese, the Sudanese all come out as well. Want to see everyone out there. So it's a real multicultural day. On behalf of the committee, I'd like to thank Brooke for coming down and brought the film in. That'll be on YouTube before film, I think. But thanks very much. It's been great. It's been an aim of mine to get Indigenous representation on this committee. I'm still working at it. Maybe Hicks will come down.
Yeah, maybe.
But it'd be great because this community now, we've gone past just being represented, it's about all communities. It'd be great to have a full representation of the first Australians and the last Australians, the newest Australians. If there are no questions, thanks kindly.
Thank you so much.